You wake up at 5, make coffee, get in your car, face traffic, your body aches, your mind screams, but you keep going because they promised you that one day all this would be worth it. How many years have you spent chasing that promise? And how much longer will you need until you realize the finish line never existed? The numbers don't lie. 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. No margin, no slack, no breathing room. Yet you blame yourself for not owning a home, for not having investments, for not making it. What no one tells you is that today, a worker needs 400 weeks of salary to afford the average home. In 1950, just 30 weeks. You're not failing, you're being crushed by design. Look around, the game was rigged from the start. Your parents tell stories of summer jobs that paid for college, of first houses at 25, of stable careers. Those weren't myths, they were realities that have been systematically dismantled. What Marx called alienation isn't just some academic concept. It's the hollow feeling in your chest when you spend your life building someone else's dream. You create value, they capture it. You get just enough to keep coming back tomorrow. And if you complain, you're not hustling enough, not grinding enough, not sacrificing enough. This isn't freedom, it's extraction. But wait, you say, what about meritocracy? Hard work pays off. Does it? The richest 1% captured 38% of all new wealth since the mid-1990s. The bottom 50%, just 2%. The ladder you're climbing doesn't lead to the top. It's designed to keep you exhausted on the middle rungs. The occasional success story isn't proof the system works. It's the exception they parade to keep you believing. They need you hungry, desperate, willing to accept anything just for the chance to survive. Your merit is meaningless in a game where the starting line determines the finish. Look at your social media, really look at it. All those people living their best lives, exotic vacations, dream homes, perfect families. Behind every filtered photo is a maxed out credit card, a second mortgage, a breaking point approaching. We don't pursue success anymore. We perform it. While the real numbers tell a different story. 78% of workers report living with financial stress. 69% have less than $1,000 in savings. But still, you post the vacation photos, the new car, the fancy dinner, smiling through the anxiety of knowing the credit card bill is coming. We've transformed success from security into spectacle. It's not about having enough anymore. It's about appearing to have more than enough. Your Instagram feed isn't your life. It's your product placement. Marx's concept of commodity fetishism has evolved. Now you're both the commodity and the consumer. They sold you the dream, then charged you interest to sleep in it. Just keep hoping. Your big break is coming. Stay positive. That's not encouragement. It's a control mechanism. Hope keeps you docile, accepting, willing to endure just a little longer. It's why you stay at the toxic job. Accept the insulting raise. Take on the extra shift, because maybe this is the sacrifice that finally pays off. Spoiler, it isn't. Hope has become the cheapest tool of exploitation. It costs them nothing to let you believe, and it costs you everything when you do. The data proves it. Since 1979, productivity has grown 62%, but hourly compensation, just 17.5%. You're working harder, producing more, creating more value, and watching most of it disappear into someone else's pocket. This isn't a coincidence, it's policy. While you worry about paying rent, the top 10% owns 70% of the nation's wealth. While you debate between groceries and medicine, CEO pay has risen 1,460% since 1978. This isn't a bug in the system. This is the system. Look at what this dream has stolen from you. Your time, your health, your relationships. You miss your kid's baseball game for a meeting that changes nothing. You skip lunch to prove your dedication. You answer emails at midnight because that's what successful people do. Marx called it total alienation. When you're separated, not just from what you produce, but from yourself. You don't live anymore. You perform. You don't exist. you produce. The American dream wasn't designed to free you. It was designed to extract maximum value from you. Ever notice how they glorify the grind? Rise and grind. Hustle culture. No days off. They've turned exhaustion into a status symbol. The dark circles under your eyes, badge of honor. The missed family dinner, necessary sacrifice. The burnout, just weakness. We celebrate destruction of the self as dedication to success. This isn't ambition. It's slow suicide, marketed as aspiration. And the debt. Oh, the debt. Student loans that follow you for decades. Credit cards that compound faster than your salary. Medical bills that appear overnight and take years to clear. The average American carries $90,460 in debt. Marx never saw this coming. Debt as the ultimate form of control. They trap you in loans, then tell you to be grateful for the opportunity. They make you pay for the education needed for the job that barely covers the loan payments for the education. It's not a cycle, it's a spiral, downward. If you just work hard enough, you can be anything. The most dangerous lie of all, because it places the burden of a broken system on your shoulders. Your poverty isn't a policy failure, it's your personal failure. Your struggle isn't systemic. It's because you're not trying hard enough. This is gaslighting on a societal scale, making you doubt your own experience, your own pain, your own reality. Let's talk about what they call freedom. The freedom to choose between unaffordable healthcare or no healthcare. The freedom to pick which basic need to sacrifice this month. The freedom to work yourself to death. What Marx identified as wage slavery has just gotten more sophisticated. The chains aren't visible anymore. They're financial, psychological, digital. But they're just as real, maybe more so, because you've been convinced they don't exist. And the anxiety, the constant gnawing anxiety. 78% of Americans report feeling stressed about money. 77% worry they won't have enough for retirement. 73% rank finances as their number one stress in life. This isn't coincidence. This is by design. Anxious workers don't demand raises. They're grateful to have jobs. Anxious consumers buy things to feel better, then work harder to pay for them. Anxiety isn't the side effect of the system, it's the fuel. They tell you stories about the self-made billionaire, the college dropout who built an empire, the immigrant who arrived with nothing and conquered all. These aren't inspirations, they're mirages. For every self-made success, there are millions ground to dust by the same system. The exception isn't the rule, it's the distraction. While you fixate on the one who made it out, thousands more are pushed in. Look at how they've redefined labor itself. Side hustle, gig economy, independent contractor. Pretty words for ugly truths. No benefits, no security, no future. 43% of full-time American workers now have a side hustle just to survive. This isn't opportunity, it's desperation rebranded as entrepreneurship. Marx saw it coming. Capitalism must constantly revolutionize its methods of exploitation. The language changes. The extraction remains. The most insidious part, you blame yourself for the debt, the exhaustion, the failure to make it. You internalize the system's contradictions as personal shortcomings. I should have studied something else. I should have invested sooner. I should have worked harder. No, the system should have worked for you. That was the promise, wasn't it? Ever wonder why they call it the rat race? Because no matter how fast the rat runs, it stays in the cage. No matter how hard you work in this system, the fundamental relationship doesn't change. You sell your time, your body, your mind, for a fraction of the value you create. This isn't failure. This is the design. The game was never meant for you to win, just to keep you playing. Think about the language they use. Human resources, human capital, labor costs. You're not a person, you're an input, a line item, an expense to minimize. Marx called it reification, the process of turning people into things, and we've perfected it. We measure your worth in productivity, your value in output. We reduce your humanity to numbers on a spreadsheet, and then wonder why depression rates keep climbing. Notice how they've fragmented your existence. Work self, home self, social media self, financial self, each with its own demands, its own pressures, its own impossible standards. This isn't accidental, it's strategic. A fragmented worker can't see the whole picture, can't connect their personal struggle to the system that creates it, can't organize, can't resist, can't imagine alternatives. Alienation isn't just from your labor, it's from yourself. They tell you to invest in yourself, learn new skills, get more certifications, stay competitive. But this isn't self-improvement, it's self-exploitation. You're not developing, you're desperately trying to maintain market value, like a product fighting obsolescence. The average American spends $15,000 on career development over their lifetime, paying for the privilege of remaining employable. Marx would recognize this immediately, the commodification of the self. You've become both capitalist and capital, exploiter and exploited, all in one exhausted body. Look at how they've privatized basic human needs. Healthcare tied to employment, education available only through debt, housing as an investment vehicle rather than a right. The necessities of existence now come with price tags, and those price tags keep growing. Healthcare costs up 31% in 10 years, college tuition up 144% in 20 years, housing costs up 118% since 1965. Meanwhile, wages? Stagnant for decades. This isn't market forces. This is extraction by design. And retirement? That mythical horizon you're told to work toward? 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency expense, yet somehow they're supposed to save for decades of post-work life. The math doesn't add up. By design. Because retirement was never meant for everyone. It was meant for the few, the privileged, the already wealthy. For the rest, work until you drop. The average American has just $65,000 saved for retirement. That lasts about a year. The golden years are just another marketing lie. Notice how quickly they replace workers. Someone dies at their desk. Job posting goes up before the body's cold. Health fails from overwork. Replaced before your hospital discharge. Ask for time to care for a dying parent. Reminded that business needs come first. You are interchangeable, disposable, replaceable. Marx called it the reserve army of labor. The system needs a desperate pool of workers, ready to accept any conditions, any treatment, any pay, just to survive. You see celebrities preaching about mindset, billionaires claiming anyone can do it, politicians promising that prosperity is just one policy away, all while wages fall further behind costs, all while wealth concentrates in fewer hands, all while the fundamental equation remains unchanged. Your labor, their profit. This isn't a broken promise. It's a successful con. Think about what they call networking, making connections, building relationships. But it's not about human bonds, it's about utility. What can this person do for me? How can they advance my career? We've commodified friendship, monetized human connection. Marx's theory of alienation extends to our very relationships. Even love has become a transaction. Dating apps, relationship ROI, cost-benefit analysis of marriage. We've internalized the market so deeply, we apply its logic to our hearts. Look at what we call time off. 2 weeks vacation, if you're lucky. Americans leave 768 million vacation days unused each year. Why? Fear, guilt, the knowledge that rest is punished. This isn't freedom, it's permission to briefly pause your exploitation before rushing back to prove your worth again. What Marx called the reproduction of labor power has been minimized to its bare essentials. Just enough rest to keep you productive, not enough to make you question. Ever notice how they've monetized resistance? Anti-capitalist t-shirts, revolution-themed TV shows, rebellion aesthetics. They sell you the symbols of resistance against the very system that profits from the sale. Marx would recognize this immediately. Capitalism's ability to absorb its critiques, to transform opposition into commodity, to sell you the language of freedom while tightening the chains. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not productive, not successful, not valuable, just alive, present in your body, connected to others, engaged with the world. These moments grow rarer, by design, because alienated workers don't revolt, exhausted people don't organize, fragmented souls don't recognize their common bonds. This isn't failure, this is function. So here you are, tired, broke, still believing, still thinking that if you just work a little harder, sacrifice a little more, hustle a little longer. But ask yourself this: if the game was designed for you to win, why do you keep losing?